to tell people what I think they should be doing, or to tell them I'm right and they are wrong. But as soon as I catch myself, I go back to the deleting, constantly, relentlessly.
So are there steps that the technique of, I'm going to try again to say it, oponopono,
perfect,
that it teaches to help people kind of take responsibility and delete and erase the things that aren't working and just be present to being in that flow?
So the basic of Ho'oponopono is, I'm responsible, okay? I'm sorry, please forgive me for whatever is in me that has created this, to yourself, okay? So it's a process of forgiveness, repentance, and then when you allow, because you give permission, you have free will. So it's up to you. You want to engage, you want to resolve it yourself, to find the solution yourself, be my guest. But you have this other way of giving permission for inspiration to resolve that problem. But for that, you do have to take responsibility and forgive me for whatever is in me that is doing this. Now, you don't have to repeat all that. I'm sorry, please forgive me for whatever, okay? So there are tools, there are shortcuts, okay? But even if you are willing just to try, every time something happens, you keep your mouth shut, I'm sorry, or you say thank you, okay? So, you know, even to yourself, again, even if you don't feel like saying thank you to the other person, but it's like, thank you, you know. But that is a way of allowing inspiration to take over. When you are willing to do it, what happens is there is a process of transmutation. So every time you give permission, something gets erased from the programs. Even if you think nothing happened when you say thank you or when you say I'm sorry, okay, to yourself.
So literally, like, can we just take an example and kind of walk through it?
Yes.
Like, let's say, what's an example? Let's just say that I'm, like, driving. I use this example on the show before, but let's say that I'm driving and someone cuts me off.
Yes.
And of course I'm like, you know, like, I hate when that happens. They could have hit me.
Yes.
So you're saying what the first thing to do is to just say to yourself,
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Because that person, there are no accidents. There are everything is, the universe is perfect. So that person that cut you off is giving you one more chance to delete, to erase, to take 100% responsibility. Nothing is an accident. Nothing. So that person show up in your life for you to let go.
Of whatever it was that attracted.
Exactly. Instead of thinking it's him, how come you did this to me? Or you let go. And one way of letting go, because it's not easy, one way is just getting, you know, keeping your mouth shut and I'm sorry or thank you. We all can. Yeah. And like I said before, I engage, I talk, I do a lot of things that I teach not to, but I always tell people, don't make yourself wrong. As long as you are aware.
It's a practice, like an ongoing practice.
Yes.
I mean,
and it's a life training. Yes, and it's not easy. It looks like, I call my book The Easiest Way because it really is, and because we really don't need anything else, but to be able to bring inspiration, the part of us that knows better, the part of us that knows everything. But usually we are into the thinking or we are into the emotional. Nothing wrong with that, there is a choice. Or when things comes up, thank you, sorry, or whatever, you know, and sometimes it's like, thank you, sorry, you know, and you just go like, but you have to know that even if you don't see it, every time you are willing to do this, something happens. Something happens. Some people can see it right away on things like, wow, I can't believe it. Other people, you know, it takes time, but I always tell people the results of this cleansing, you see it when you look back. And then you cannot believe your life. You don't believe how Christine Closer invited me to the program, you know, or things like that. You cannot explain how things happen to you.
It's interesting because just recently, like literally in the past 2 weeks, I'd say, I got bumped in a parking lot in the back end of my car. I was backing up, someone else was driving backwards, and twice. One was just a little bump, and another one I actually got dented. I got hit by a big SUV. And I'm like, first thing I said was, what's that about? Like, why am I attracting this? What needs to be, like, obviously, because it's my back end, it's something in the past that I'm kind of feeling, it's like, all right, there's some old way of being that just needs to be released because I'm getting reminded, in the bumper of my back into my car.
Sometimes I always tell people the universe tries to wake us up in different ways.
Yeah.
When we don't listen, it's going to be sure that it gets our attention some way.
And what else is interesting is just this morning, like, I had no idea what oponopono was.
Yes.
I didn't know that it's the whole idea of just,
I know that.
saying sorry and asking for, forgiveness of yourself.
Yes.
And just this morning, like, I had a little bit of a disagreement, I guess, with my husband.
Yes.
And then I went into my morning meditation.
Yes.
And I found myself talking to myself.
Yes.
And, saying I'm sorry. To myself, and it's just, I mean, here we are, like, this is just an example of how it works, because just this morning, I've never really done that before, asked myself for forgiveness, and then here you are talking about it, so you just never know.
Yes, and I'm so happy, I'm not surprised, but I'm very happy, and you know what happened is so important in business. If you want, first of all, your talents, find out what you love to do, and go for it, trust. The fear will come up. It always does, for everybody. So, but you have to be willing to go and know that if that is your talent, that's what you really love, if that's your passion, the universe will do it for you. There is nothing you have to do. There is nothing you have to know. And things will just present. And then taking 100% responsibility. Because when you do, it's amazing how things will just flow to you.
Now, what was the transition like for you? Because I would imagine that as you've learned this, you used to not live from the place, like you say, before you woke up.
Yeah, I woke up really late. I mean, I'm glad I did, but I have 2 teenage boys, and I always tell them, you can be happy now. You don't have to wait like me. But because when we realize who we are, I mean, it's amazing what we can do. We all, even, if our tapes don't tell us that. But we all can do amazing things. But it's about letting inspiration, not the intellect telling you, knowing that you don't know anything. So yeah, it was a huge change. I was a person that always thought that the material things were the ones that make you happy. And I went through that. I was into the race of the houses and the cars and, and the husband, and, because everything outside of me was going to make me happy. And then when you get there, you realize it's not.
Yep.
So I started my search. I was a very angry person, especially with my kids. And my oldest son woke me up. He talked to me the same way I used to talk to him, without resentment. And I looked at him and I didn't say anything, but I said, Mabel, you have to do something about it. My first seminar was about anger. I want to find out what anger was all about. Where was it coming from? And then it never ended. And it's the search, but I always say there has to be an easiest and fastest way.
Now, how did you come to find the technology of Ho'oponopono?
Well, because of one thing took me to the other, like anybody else. When you are ready, the teacher appears. Yeah. And because of this boy that kept telling me there has to be an easier and faster way, and I took the Ho'oponopono training a couple of times since I realized that this is what I was looking for. There are no gurus here. You are your own guru. You can change your life. You don't depend on anybody. We rather talk to neighbors, psychology. Listen, there is a part of us inside of us, so close to us as our own breathing that knows everything. We are always looking outside for things to make us happy, to find, what is right and what is wrong. So, let go of opinions and judgments. I was a very opinionated and judgmental person. I always was right too.
And you really did that using this technique of thank you for showing me.
Yeah, sorry. We have over 50 tools, different things, but I also share this with the Hispanic community over the radio station and the testimonies from the people. I mean, amazing. We are things, but so efficient, so incredible good. And it takes you out of the emotional, it helps you to let go, because we are here to let go and let go,
and live,
or that part of whatever you call it.
Yep.
But it's inside of us, knows better, and it can find the right solution for all our problems.
You said there's 52 different techniques for this practice?
I'm sorry?
You said there's 50 or so
yes,
different
or more,
things?
probably more like that. But for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say you have